Hey everyone, just the short compilation videos. I actually went back through my old Facebook. I'm not on Facebook anymore, but I had uploaded some old videos of our appearances on Premier League. So I thought that I'd compile them all together and have some fun for your viewing experience. Enjoy these old videos.
To Spurs. I know Don enjoyed their game yesterday. This is Ellie joining us from the USA. Ellie, thank you for joining us again on Fanzone today. There you are. Oh, look at that.
Wow.
Oh.
Look at that.
Hi, Don. Hi, Kelly. How are you?
We should have told
Jealous.
We should have told the producer not to let us go to it.
No, that is so good.
Good news is I'm actually going to LA in a couple of weeks.
For you anytime you want to come off season and have a pool party here.
Oh, it's
Me and
getting
Don are on
better.
the next flight. We're near Heathrow. We'll nip over, shall we?
See you soon.
I'm actually coming out there in a couple of weeks, Ellie, on holiday. I'm looking forward to it now. But let's talk Spurs, shall we?
You should totally hit us up with the LA Spurs.
Okay, we'll discuss that maybe.
If I'm in Fanzone in a fortnight's time and I see you in that pool there, I'm quitting my job.
I'll speak to the
very
producer. We'll make it happen. Ellie, let's talk Spurs rather than my holidays. A big win yesterday, but I want to point out something we've had in on email. This is from a fan in Malaysia, Chang. Spursy. This is my least favourite word that Spurs fans use. Spursy from start to finish, taking the lead in a much-needed win. Aurier having a dig at VAR and the officials while celebrating the opener, only to be sent off on the stroke of half an hour. The club skipper then gifting the equaliser when it was imperative to hang on to the slender lead, only to score the winner minutes later. Well, you did score the winner. I can't speak today. You did score the winner. So is that fan being a bit like they're reacting a little bit?
Actually, Chang is a buddy of mine, believe it or not, in the worldwide Tottenham fan network. And we kind of disagree from time to time, but in this case, I think he's got a point. I don't know what the heck Aurier was thinking, but, why would you do something like that? It's so crazy. And then Lloris with the worst fumble ever. What is wrong with people? Why don't they play from the back like that? Is it a Premier League thing? Does everybody think that if you've got to have a total possession team, you've got to play from the back with your sweeper keeper? What? But, people have been making mistakes lately like this. I'm not saying hoof it up the park, but seriously, people got to think about stuff like that. And so even But, people have been making mistakes lately like this. I'm not saying hoof it up the park, but seriously, people got to think about stuff like that. And so even though it was a victory, I felt really bad watching it because you just went to 10 men for no reason at all.
Ellie, you're fuming. Can I give you a positive, Ellie? I've done the commentary on the game, and I thought your character in the second half, and I singled out one player, I think, in my comments, was Musa Sissoko, who is a central midfield player, who went in and played at right back. And when you went down to 10 men, that you're not so Spursy. You had a bit of character and you're willing to dig in.
Yeah, there was a bit of the backs to the wall moment and we came out fighting. But my point is, why did we let it get to that point in the first place?
That's true. That's true.
We weren't as dominant and decisive from the get-go, It's just like sloppy mistakes, stupid mistakes, go down to 10 men for no reason at all, give away a World Cup clumsy kind of goal like Lloris did,
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, sometimes you scratch your head, you go, how are we ever going to win the league like this?
So where are you at then, being a Spurs fan, after the amount of games we've played? Where are you at? Do you think you saw enough character in that second 45 minutes to think, yeah, we'll be okay, we'll finish third, we'll have a good cup run and do okay in the Champions League? Or do you think we're miles behind?
I think we're going to have a good go in the Champions League. Actually, everyone's always up for a European night. But in order to get up the Premier League, wow, to only have won, I don't know, what is it, like 3 or 4 games in like 7 matches or something like that. That's a really poor record, and then we've given things away. We just let leads slip. That's not good. That's not consistent. And to win the league, you need consistency.
Ellie, thank you so much for joining us. Don't get too stressed. Look at that weather. It looks
Just
great.
look behind you and everything's all right.
Everything's fine.
Well,
Myself and Don
Kelly,
have
if
rain
you
to
come
look
on,
at here.
I'm going to personally invite you to the Beverly Hilton.
Yes, Don.
Wow.
And you're staying
What
here.
are we doing sat here?
Well, I'm going
Seriously?
out there. Don't know about you.
I'm coming.
Ellie, thank you so much for joining us. It's great to hear your views as usual. I'll see you in LA.
LA's most famous Spurs fan, Ellie. Happy birthday!
Happy birthday, Ellie.
Share thoughts with you today. How you doing?
Pleasure. Yeah, sorry about that, Ellie. Anyway, have a lovely birthday.
Thank you very much. I'm going to be enjoying a big slice of Tottenham cake. In case you're not familiar with it, it's basically an old English recipe that's like a sponge cake with a strawberry frosting and coconut on top.
At the end, does it kind of go soft in the middle and kind of dip?
Ouch! How dare you?
I'm not going to back him up on that, Ellie, especially it's your birthday. But Ellie, the question that I want to ask you, other than the dog that's just joining in.
Well, that's Terrence Matthews. It's just...
Look. Can I just ask, how long did it take you to build that pool in your garden?
It was kind of like that already when we moved in, and we have a pool guy. Actually, he's from Bristol. Oh. So he actually comes and takes care of the pool.
That's why I live.
That's a long way to go.
To take care of a pool.
To do a pool. I mean, can't he get a job near at home?
Long way. Hey, poor lad.
It's a good job we're allowed to travel around the world.
He just enjoys the West Coast weather here.
I bet he does.
Yeah, I make it does. Okay, Ellie, let's a quick word on Spurs. What a brilliant result in the Champions League this week.
Amazing.
Yes, absolutely fantastic. And what I really enjoyed was the mainstream media's narrative was completely destroyed. Basically, they've been saying things like, we have no money for transfers, we're playing away from home, we're a Harry Kane team, we can't do anything without more funding and all that. And we've just blown that away. Poch has blown that away. Oh, the final narrative, Poch to Man United, it's gone.
Ellie, you've been listening to Don Hutchison too long. All right, it's time for that quiz, Ellie. Leroy's just drawn level.
Yes.
Up 4-4 now. We're going to go to Premier League today for your question and hear from Mark Pugach.
It was a significant day in the title race last Sunday as Manchester City put 6 past Chelsea. Sergio Aguero's treble took him level with Alan Shearer for the number of hat-tricks scored by a player in the Premier League. So, how many hat-tricks has Aguero now scored?
Thank you very much, Mark. Don't answer just now, Ellie. Your 10-second start now. Sergio Aguero with that last hat-trick against Chelsea drew level with Alan Shearer on the most hat-tricks in the Premier League. How many have Alan Shearer and Sergio Aguero scored?
I'm going to say 7.
You've gone 7. Leroy's gone 11. He's licking his lips. When he licks his lips, it normally means something. Mark Pugach, what's the answer?
After scoring his 10th against Arsenal at the start of February, the Argentine scored his 11th Premier League hat-trick last weekend.
Congratulations, Leroy. Commiserations, Ellie. But you can't win them all, Ellie. It's your birthday after all, and you've got a pool in your garden. Yeah. And you've got
thank you very much.
No problem.
Starting off my birthday weekend in style.
Absolutely. Have a happy 21st, Ellie. Have a wonderful day.
I love the way she didn't even deny that.
No, of course.
Thanks very much. Beda in Dubai.
Hi Premier League, it's Ellie from LA here. I'm actually in Singapore today for the Formula One. My question to you is, do you think Spurs will be able to maintain our winning performance in the Premier League to try to get up the table a bit this weekend against Leicester? I think we're going to do it. Come on you Spurs.
That was Ellie then in Singapore, a big Spurs fan. She calls in a lot. It's hard with Spurs, isn't it, Robbie? Because they played so well last week, albeit against Crystal Palace and potentially Palace, a bit dodgy defensively. But then you look at what happened in midweek as well. How's that going to affect them this weekend?
Spurs, difficult one, because if you're asking Spurs fan from 10 years ago, 10 years ago, if you said to Spurs fans, you'll constantly be finishing in the Champions League places, getting to a Champions League final, they wouldn't have believed you. Now they are. Now people are saying they've got to move on to the next step and challenge to win the Premier League. I still think they're miles off it. I really do. I think against Leicester weekend, look at the way Leicester played at Manchester United, unlucky to come away with a point. Leicester have started ever so well. Maybe we should have done a combined Leicester and Spurs side. That would have been very interesting. But I think are Spurs overachieving or are Spurs underachieving? That is the question I'd put out there to Spurs fans.
Well, right on cue. We've actually got a Spurs fan on the line right now. We've got Raad in Dubai. Big Spurs fan, Raad, thank you for joining us. Robbie has just said that you are a million miles off winning the Premier League, but he wants to know, are you underachieving or overachieving?
I think it depends which way you look at it. From a financial point of view, absolutely overachieving. Over the last 5 years, with difference this summer, really, we've not spent any money. Salary-wise, we're number 6 on the table as well. So financially, yes, and they've been playing away from home for the last 2 years until now, really, with a new stadium. You've got to take that into consideration. So from that point of view, yes. But I think Robbie also said something I agree with. Now that we've got to the top 4 on a regular basis, Champions League final, second in the league, third in the league, it's time for that next big step to win the big prize. And I don't mean League Cup or FA Cup. We're talking Premier League or Champions League. Very, very close, obviously, on a couple of occasions, but close and we'll see where we go. But the thing is, I've got a question for Robbie, actually. We've played 6 games this season, 3 very good draws away from home, 2 home wins, 1 bad result against Newcastle. We're talking about a crisis, or at least some bad form. I don't think we're playing great, but results-wise, it's not too bad.
Yeah, Raad,
in the league.
Yeah, Raad, on that, the Man City performance away from home, the 2-2 draw, I've got to say, the gulf in class between the two sides this season. Yes, you went there in the Champions League there last season and won, didn't you? With that dramatic game. But I think the 2-2 draw papered over some cracks for Spurs because City, 30-odd shots to Spurs is 3. The result, inevitably, when we look in years to come, 2-2, at City. But I just think that the difference, Spurs are a million miles away from winning the Premier League. But it could be another season of Champions League football.
I mean, look, at the end of the day, it's funny how perception has changed, as you said, from 10 years ago where we are now. But it's a human nature. You just want to go to the next step now, isn't it? And I think there's nothing wrong with that from a fan's point of view or the players or even the owners.
Raad, just a quick question. Harry Kane, how long does he stay with you? How long does he stay with you not winning trophies? When is the point where he's got to think to himself, do you know what? I've got to move on to win stuff.
I don't think he's ever going to go, in my humble opinion.
So Harry Kane could finish his career with no trophies.
Well, I mean, the thing is, I look at the last 5 years, and if you look at it, what they talked about, the same with Pochettino. How long is he going to hang around for? And then there was like, he's never going to try Madrid. He's never going to go to Man U, and they're both still there. They're both still there. I think, I think trophies will come. It's which trophies, I think, is the big question. Is it the big ones or the ones that, people like Swansea and Birmingham win? That's what we're going to be talking about, isn't it?
Any trophy for Spurs will do, I think.
Robbie is on the wind-up,
Any trophy for Spurs will do.
He's always on the wind-up. I've got it in for you, mate. Eliana from LA will have you one day.
Don't worry, we're coming for him, Rod. Just bear with me a few seconds because we've actually got a Skyper joining us on the line.
44203 314 6161 international call rates apply, or you can just simply send us a video like Jack and Eli, Tottenham fans from the USA.
Greetings, Jack from LA, Ellie from LA, one love. Just watched a spectacular Tottenham win. What do you think, Ellie?
It's pretty great to be getting back to winning ways. Another 3 points and slowly climbing back up the table. But unfortunately, a couple of sloppy defensive mistakes, which could have been easily avoided.
The passion is back and it's always been there. And the long balls are done. I appreciate that. And we're on to winning ways.
Yeah, so it's come on you Spurs.
One love, respect. Come on, you Spurs.
I've got to say, that was definitely Ellie and not Eli. Sorry, Ellie.
Yeah, Ellie was on Friday, and she was so disappointed that Poch had gone. Yeah, she's got a massive crush on Pochettino. I'm sure she still has. But I think that crush might start to wane a little bit now Mourinho's in charge. That performance was excellent. It had loads of good traits about it. The worst one was the negative substitutions. It had to be said at 3-0, a few negative substitutions, lost a couple of goals, but a good start for Spurs.
For Tottenham fans, as they say, a win is a win is a win. Ethan.
So we're here today with the famous Ledley King. And Ledley, what do you think of today's game?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Two very good sides. Always a lot of goals when these two teams play, so I'm going for Spurs 2-1 victory.
2-1 for Spurs, so it's come on you Spurs.
Come on, Spurs.
I'm open. Oh shit! You had it on video.
Oh, that's even better.
Yeah. I've got it on video now.
Can we get that lady to take you? Because otherwise you won't be in there.
Daniel would have said to him, we need to finish in the Champions League. He wouldn't have mentioned, that wouldn't have been the vocab, Europa League. So it will be a disappointment if they don't. Obviously, they finish in the Champions League for the last 4 seasons. So it'd be a step downwards. But there's still realistically a slight possibility.
A slight possibility, Tim thinks then. Let's now bring in a Spurs fan. This is Ellie, a regular on the show, joining us all the way from LA. Ellie, great to have you on the show with us once again. Tim has just said there that the fans wouldn't have let Spurs get away with that if they were in the stadium last night. Are you letting them get away with it? Do you think it was good enough?
Well, hi, Kelly. Hi, Tim. Great to see you. And Tim, thank you so much for being a great servant for the club and everything you did for us. I don't think you get a lot of respect from people who kind of forgot history. But to answer your question, Kelly, I think Tottenham fans have to get used to this kind of play. This is the Jose way. He plays boring, defensive, 1-0, sit back and defend. And we just got to get over it because we're not going to see the flamboyant style of play that we're used to. Tottenham fans really want to see that kind of entertaining football. And you're just not going to get it in this time and place, in the time of weird season, COVID, all that kind of stuff. No transfers, no money on the table. That's it. That's how we're going to be.
Ellie, you're a little bit worried that there's no players coming through the academy. You've seen with the likes of Arsenal bringing a lot of youth players through and Chelsea. At the moment, Tottenham seem to have dried up in that area. And obviously, in this current climate, it's going to be very difficult for Tottenham to be able to sign players. And we know you've got a manager at the moment who works on signings, big money signings. That's how he breeds his success. So is that a worry to you and your Tottenham friends?
Well, Tim, I said this actually when Jose actually was announced, that he's not the kind of person who brings in a lot of people from the academy. I know when he started on the first day, he was blah-blahing, oh, there's lots of people coming through, and I work with McTominay at Man United and all that. But we have people that are going to come through, like Parrott, like Skip, who have already made some kind of impact. So give them a chance. Honestly, I know you worked a lot with the youth players when you were in that position, and you gave people a chance. But we're going to have to, because we have no money for transfers. All the money for the stadium and the training ground, that was the whole idea of getting Pochettino, someone who is proven to work with young players. And Jose is not like that at all.
So what's the answer, Ellie? What do you do if you're Daniel Levy?
Well, as speaking as a fan, I think that ENIC and the board have to open the purse strings at the end of just gut it out for the next couple of games, see it through to the end, hopefully get a Europa League play so that you can get some income coming in. But honestly, then in the summer, you're going to have to do something. Otherwise, Jose's not going to stand for that, you know?
Ellie, the question we're asking on today's show is the Europa League good enough for Spurs? Of course, Champions League finalists last season. Tim has indicated that he doesn't think it really is. What do you think?
It's as good as it's going to get. And so you need some TV revenue and European revenue coming in. So you're going to have to just take your medicine, because this is how we are. You know, the players have underperformed since and during the Champions League final. And it's the same group of players. So they're just going to have to lump it. Honestly, if they can't show up, if they can't show some character on the day, they're just going to have to get over it, or get your agent to look for a transfer.
Ellie, Kelly's putting words in my mouth. I didn't say it wasn't good enough. I think
I think that it has to be good enough. Daniel Levy would far rather the Europa League than no football in there next season. He needs as many games of football in that new stadium as possible. And it's an opportunity to win a trophy. We know Europa League is a lot easier to win than the Champions League. Jose done it at Manchester United. I wouldn't put it past him doing it again next year if it has to be the Europa League. That's a minimum requirement for Daniel Levy and Tottenham is the Europa League football. So fingers crossed they will be able to achieve it.
Yeah, I think that Jose is not above winning anything. He'll want to win anything to get a trophy, even an auto glass trophy or whatever. I think he'll go for it. You know, we'll settle for the Audi Cup. So, but why not? Because it gives people a chance to rotate the team. It gives young players a chance to get in, gives some experience to those big European nights. I mean, they're not as big as the Champions League, but isn't it better than nothing? And Tottenham fans, we've been moaning for ages that we haven't won anything for years. Give them something to look forward to.
Absolutely.
Brilliant. Well, Ellie, thank you so much. Always great to hear your views on the show. We've had a few messages in on social media as well. Would you give a little wave then? This is Tim's first on Fanzone, and he's loving it, I think, waving at the fans as they go as well. Let's just read a few of the messages if we had on social as well. This is coming from Suburo on Skype, who said, this is actually an Arsenal fan, I've just realised as well. Spurs as a team at this moment don't deserve Champions League or Europa League football, but all due respect to Jose, he has chosen the wrong club. Spurs are not the calibre of club where he should be at this moment in his managerial career. We've also had this in from Alejandro in Spain on Twitter, who said, it is not a given due to how they're going about playing their football at the moment, but I think the Europa League could do them good. Well, let's hear now from another Spurs fan. I'm delighted.
It's time for the Travel Diaries, and a lucky Tottenham and Chelsea fan have travelled from the USA to North London to watch their teams play.
Hi Premier League, it's Ellie from LA. I'm packing my bag for London and got the all-important Spurs kit to take with me. Just showing you some Christmas decorations. I've got Harry Kane on my tree here. And my bag is all getting packed, ready to go to London for the game against Chelsea.
Merry Christmas from Los Angeles.
Okay, so just landed in our Airbnb and went out to get some essentials for living. I understand that these kind of things are essential for living in UK. And every time I go to London, I keep losing my Oyster card, so I have to buy a new one. So I've now got 3. It's a bit excessive for one person, but better safe than sorry.
Hello, Premier Live. This is Patrick from Las Vegas. I'm getting ready to head out to London to go meet Ellie in LA to see the Chelsea-Tottenham match, along with 3 other matches during the week. It's going to be exciting. What she doesn't know is I'm rooting for this team.
We're on our way to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium right now. Got my programme for Tottenham against Chelsea. Big game is on. Come on, you Spurs.
Well, they look like they're having
So
a great
jealous.
time. I know you are. I know
So
you
jealous.
are. Well, I'll tell you what, Olivia Bizzaglo is at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium with Ellie and Patrick with us now.
Hi Seema, hi Don. I am pitchside at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium where the game has finished Tottenham 0, Chelsea 2. And I'm delighted to say I am joined by 2 fans. I'm joined by Ellie and Patrick, both from LA.
Hello.
Ellie, you're a Spurs fan, aren't you?
Yeah, definitely, since the day I was born.
And Patrick, you're a Chelsea fan, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
You must have enjoyed that.
It was enjoyable.
And so how did you two first meet?
We actually were drawn together by love of football.
Nice.
One of the first questions that he asked me was, what are kind of things you enjoy doing on a Friday night? And I said, Friday night I'm usually going to bed early because I have to get up to watch Premier League.
Oh my God, that's great. Is
Yeah.
that true, literally?
Yeah.
So you guys get up, because obviously the time difference in LA is obviously quite a big difference. So you have to get up ridiculously early if you want to watch the early game, don't you?
The early game's usually on at 4 a.m.
And you get up for that?
We're pretty hardcore, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. That is really, really good. So talk to me about your journey over here. You came, when did you come on Friday, was it?
Yeah, I flew on Friday and arrived Saturday. It was pretty easy. It's a 10-hour direct flight from LAX.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty used to the time change now. So yeah.
Used to the time change? Patrick, are you used to the weather?
No, it's actually wet and rainy and my shoes are socked.
Well,
so,
this is what it's like in England most of the time. It is like that, unfortunately. Now, this stadium is pretty good, isn't it, Ellie? This isn't your first time here, though, because you did come to watch the Champions League final, but obviously first time for a game. How did you find it?
Well, it's an incredible stadium. It's so different from the old White Hart Lane that I did used to go to when I was growing up here in the UK. And it's just amazing. It's state-of-the-art. It's brand new. It's probably the best stadium in the world. So despite the result today, I had a great time.
And Patrick, as a Chelsea fan, you can appreciate a good stadium, can't you?
You always can appreciate a good stadium. It's better than going to the old stadiums. But this stadium is state-of-the-art. It was great. Signage was great. You can get around really easy.
And what about where you were sat? Because you were sat actually with the Tottenham fans, weren't you? So did you have to keep a little bit quiet?
Oh, I was silent. So I made my little,
Yeah, a little silent cheer.
Internal cheer.
Yeah. I'd give her the nudge.
So she knew exactly how you were feeling.
Yeah.
Ellie, what was the atmosphere like for you? Because obviously it's your first time for a game. Whereabouts were you sat as well?
We were in the Paxton Road end, so a lot of atmosphere, great singing and so on. A little bit close for comfort for the away fans, but we could hear them and they were pretty vocal. Overall, I say it's a massive game, and it's a local derby, so people are always up for that, and there's always good atmosphere for that.
And what about the difference? Because obviously coming here and watching a game in a stadium is so much different to watching it on TV. What is it like watching it over in LA and having to watch it on TV? What's the difference to coming here and actually being involved in the atmosphere and actually look Premier League football in the UK?
Well, what I brought up, the first thing is I noticed more that I hear more the crowd.
Yeah.
And when you hear it on television, you don't seem to hear that. So it's a more organic feel.
Yeah.
You feel more into it. It's just a whole experience. It's just amazing.
Yeah, but obviously when you're overseas, you can't be in the stadium. So as long as you have a good crowd to go to, in LA, we go to the Greyhound Bar and Grill.
That was going to be my next question. I was like, how do you follow the game? So is there a big group of you that go out?
There's
do you go
a
to pubs?
huge group of Los Angeles Spurs, and we also have a Spurs network all over the U.S. San Francisco, San Diego, Chicago, New York Spurs, Houston, Atlanta,
everywhere,
basically.
No, that must be
Las Vegas Spurs too. Yeah,
that must be amazing. And Patrick, do you just go along and be silent because you're a Chelsea fan,
or
do you just like the atmosphere as well?
Right, I just support, and I just like watching football. And you hang around people that like football because it's not real big, but when you meet somebody, you got some in common experience, and it doesn't really matter in LA what team you're really rooting for.
Perfect. And just Ellie, quickly, today we'll just talk about the match a little bit. It wasn't a typical performance we've seen from the Spurs team under Jose Mourinho. What did you make of it? Were you a little bit disappointed?
Yeah, I was extremely surprised. I thought we would have come racing out of the gates. I was very surprised with the strange penalty decision. I don't know what was going on. We were a little bit disappointing in the first half, but then when Son got sent off, I was like, I don't know what is happening, and it was very strange for me. So, yeah, overall, I was a little gutted, yeah.
And Patrick, you must have really enjoyed that. Frank Lampard got that spot on today, didn't he? Although you didn't get to see Christian Pulisic play, but it was a great result, and not a lot of people expected it either.
Right, well, the lineup kind of confused me a little bit because Alonso hasn't been on there forever.
Yeah.
And then Jorginho wasn't on, and so Conte and Kovac, so it was kind of confusing for me how they set it up, but I really liked the way how William played on the end.
Yeah, it was good, wasn't it? Really good.
It was amazing.
Well, guys, thank you so much. I hope you enjoy the rest of your stay in the UK because you are here for a little bit, aren't you? You're both going to games on Boxing Day.
Yes.
You're going to watch Spurs, Elliot, and you're going to be watching Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. So enjoy that. I hope the result doesn't cause too many arguments in your relationship. But thank you very much, Seema and Don. It's back to you in the studio.
Thank you very much, Olivia. And of course, we've spoken to Ellie so many times, haven't we, on this show? She would have been gutted.
She'd have been gutted. Patrick would have been absolutely
I know,
buzzing.
you could tell, couldn't you? Could you tell?